The sport is sponsored by True Green. Busy weekend for the Padres, signing Nick Castellanos, extending AJ Preller. Walker Buehler was signed to a contract. Griffin Canning was signed to a contract, as well as German Marquez. San Diego State, though, back in action tonight, taking on Grand Canyon, looking for a little revenge after losing a close one at GCU a few weeks ago. That game will be at 7 o'clock right here on San Diego Sports 760 with Schaefer. Fletch and I will get you going pregame starting at 6. Aztecs are currently favored by 8.5. And big news out of the NFL, star wide receiver recovering from an ACL injury, Tyreek Hill, has been cut by the Miami Dolphins. True Green, don't waste another weekend doing your lawn care yourself. Partner with the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour and get a golf course quality lawn the easy way. Sign up at truegreen.com, then sit back and relax.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Well, don't keep us in suspense any longer. Show us what you got.
An extended weekend with a lot to cover. AJ Preller makes a deal.
Nick Castellanos is going to be continuing his big league career. He's going to join the San Diego Padres.
Then gets a deal of his own.
And speak about AJ, I think it's just genuine. He's truthful to all his players, loyal to the guys, and it's awesome to see that he's going to be here.
The Aztecs are back on the Mesa versus Grand Canyon.
GCU survives and wins 70-69.
Looking for some payback. Chaos in Major League Baseball as the head of the Players Union walks away.
Last year, the FBI and the Department of Justice started an investigation into the MLBPA, and since then, questions percolated about Tony Clark's standing. The resignation leaves a vacuum at the top.
And the NBA All-Star Game looked like an actual basketball game.
I don't believe I heard you correctly.
All that and more as we react to it from the studios of San Diego Sports 760 inside the Fletch Zone.
It's San Diego Sports 760 on a Tuesday. What's going on, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John Schaefer is going to take over then. We got a busy freaking week coming up, so let's get right into it. Do we all realize what we have coming up this week? Deep breath, everybody. Aztecs got Grand Canyon tonight. Massive game. SDFC returns on Saturday night. They got Montreal at Snapdragon Stadium. Aztecs basketball on the road this weekend at Colorado State. U.S. ladies hockey going for gold tomorrow against Canada.
Yes, sir.
Men's hockey in the Olympics playoffs starting on Thursday. Padres first spring training game on Friday versus the Mariners. And who knows, the Padres may make a million more moves by the time Friday comes around. With all that being said, that's coming up over the next 2 hours. But Sammy Long, are you ready to have a great show?
I am ready to have a great show.
Are you ready to have a great freaking show?
I am. And quickly, before we get going, I would like to say a very special birthday to my mom.
Mama Long.
Mama Long, happy birthday. Best mom in the world. Love you. Just want to get that off at the top.
We all love Mama Long. She's the best. And as we go throughout the next 2 hours, every single time we come back from a commercial break, we will be celebrating Mama Long with different stories and tidbits of information. And yeah, that's just how we do things here on San Diego Sports 760. But it is Ben Fletcher. It is Sammy Long. We got you for the next 2 hours. So buckle in, everybody. Kevin Acee is going to be joining us coming up at 1:30 to kind of detail all the Padres moves. And that's exactly where we should start, because I'll be completely honest. I felt a little blindsided this weekend. Did not see a lot of this coming for the Padres, who for months now have been a little quiet. The conversation has been around AJ Preller's contract. The conversation has been on whether or not ownership would be spending on their way out the door. The conversation would be whether or not the Padres were going into this year relying on minor league systems and players who got opportunities last year but didn't succeed in them to be the fifth man in the starting rotation for the Padres. Well, all that can just go straight to hell, because the Padres made a million moves this past weekend, and it started with Manny Machado at the podium and doing a little presser scrum, kind of saying, I can't believe AJ Preller hasn't been extended yet. He just got a $20 million a year player, Nick Castellanos, for the veteran minimum. And then did you notice within the next 24 hours, AJ Preller's contract was signed? So kind of impressive what the Padres have been able to do. Let's run through it real quick. I mentioned Nick Castellanos, the slugger. We talked about a ton on last Friday. They bring back Ty France, who was a Padre after attending San Diego State. He's bounced around a little bit since then. He spent some valuable time with the Mariners, actually had an all-star season with the Mariners. They get German Marquez, who's been with the Rockies, Griffin Canning, who at one point was a very highly ranked prospect, Walker Buehler, a.k.a. Tight Pants Magoo, who was a Los Angeles Dodger for his best years, and they extend AJ Preller. That's a lot. I did not expect all that to happen this offseason for the Padres, much less in one weekend's time for the Padres.
I'm really impressed with what the Padres did. I got to give them a lot of credit for how they handled this weekend because, right, I think if you were trading for these players and you were giving away prospects, I think I'd feel a little bit differently. But
did they spend like $5 million total?
Right, think of what's happened in the last couple of days. Nick Castellanos, yes, for whatever you think about the beer in the dugout and the Phillies not really getting along, he's 34 years old. This was a guy who signed a 5-year, $100 million contract and has been a very solid player. He hit 250 last year, hit about 17 bombs. We all celebrate Gavin Sheets last year for what he did, rightfully so, because Gavin Sheets is phenomenal. Do we realize that Nick Castellanos hit one fewer home run than Gavin Sheets? And Gavin Sheets, I believe, hit 252. So if you just get what he did last year, which I think will be an improvement, not having to be one of the guys out there in Philly, I think if he does exactly what he did last year, it's going to be a success story. In terms of the pitching side, which I think was more pressing, you get three guys at different stages in their careers. German Marquez, who was, let's put it fairly, he was awful last year for Colorado.
With the Rockies.
He was with the Rockies. And we all know that pitchers don't typically look good in Colorado because the ball flies out there.
And you have 0 run support.
Right. That's another great point. Zero run support.
Look, his numbers weren't good. I'm not trying to defend German Marquez, but I am saying if you have the worst situation possible for a starting pitcher, it is pitching in Colorado with that offense.
100%. That's why people liked it. You would think would want to come to San Diego to pitch because it's a pitcher's friendly ballpark. Then you got Griffin Canning, a guy who was a former top prospect, kind of got lost in the sauce there with the trade. This is a guy who, for the contract he's on, competing for a 5th starter spot, he was originally supposed to be one of the Angels' top prospects. He was supposed to be one of the guys that people thought were going to help get Ohtani and Mike Trout, these guys, in the playoffs because the pitching department outside of Shohei had been so bad. And then you get to Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler is formerly one of the best pitchers in baseball, has had multiple Tommy John surgeries, and kind of had that magical run for the Dodgers a couple of years ago when they went on to beat the Yankees. The Padres actually ate him up here at Petco, but if we remember right, there were a couple of errors that led to that. Buehler actually was really good in the playoffs. The only reason he was traded from the Dodgers last year, because he actually threw a bunch of innings, was because the Dodgers had such a good rotation. They told him, you're going to have to move to the bullpen. He said no, they traded him to Boston. It doesn't work out. So long-winded way of saying, I think all these signings have massive upside, and you think you throw enough shots at the dartboard. It's like in the NFL draft. You throw enough picks at this thing, some of these guys are going to hit, and I got to give AJ Preller a lot of credit for when it looked pretty bleak there, being able to kind of pull this out of his hat, and now you're looking at a complete roster for the Padres.
Kind of crazy. We'll react more when Kevin Acee's on, coming up at 1:30 today, about how all these moves came down, about his thoughts on the AJ Preller contract extension, which none of us really know a whole lot about. I'll be completely honest. The Padres are saying they will not release the terms, the money, the years, or anything. And I do feel like that's a way of hiding the fact that new ownership may come in and say, yeah, we don't like this contract. So we'll see. But for now, AJ Preller is under contract with a new one. And I think that's good news for the Padres. The Nick Castellanos thing, just real quickly here before we get to the big three. The Padres last year, my biggest complaint with the team was lack of slug. The most lack of slug for the Padres last year came from their first baseman in Luis Arraez, who hit for average, but the home runs, doubles, triples, none of it was even part of the equation with Luis Arraez. Nick Castellanos is going to be tried out at first base, which is going to be a newer position for him. So we'll see how he fits in defensively, but you just tripled your amount of slug you're getting from the first base position, which traditionally is a power hitting position. And for the Padres, I think that's good news. If he comes out and hits 20 bombs, hits 260, I think everyone is saying this is a great contract and this is a great signing for the Padres. And I do think we might be getting the best version of Nick Castellanos because he kind of got peed on walking out the door in Philly.
Right. He got his rep ruined. Kind of like now he's not as good as his player. Remember when Luka got traded and it was they're ruining his
alcoholic,
rep? Lazy.
The hookah smoker.
Right. I mean, Nick Castellanos' name after Philly has certainly gotten drugged through the mud. So to that end, if he's ever going to be motivated and wanting to put together a season in the NL to stick it to the Phillies, it would be this season.
I can't wait for it, man. Padres baseball, by the way, they get going Friday this week against the Mariners, spring training. Who's ready for some spring training ball?
Hell
baby?
Yeah.
Actually, you're going out to spring training, right?
Yeah, a couple weeks. Yeah.
Nice. I'm working on a trip with my buddies right now. We're trying to figure out if golf, baseball, everything can work. There's an Airbnb that is booked for me to go out to spring training. We just don't have any of the other things required.
Fletch and Sammy are ripping it out to Scottsdale.
Dude,
Scottsdale.
I got some Scottsdale stories that are not for air, but are pretty crazy, man. I've been there once in my life. It was for my bachelor party. It did not go well.
Scottsdale is a fun place.
I don't know if I'm allowed back in Dirk Bentley's bar, if I'm being completely honest. Not because of anything I did.
Is that the one where all the bars are together and it's a street that's blocked off?
Yeah, and they're all
between?
owned by the same people. And if
Yeah.
you get kicked out of one of them, you get kicked out of all of them, even if it wasn't you that did the thing.
The one homie couldn't hold his liquor.
One dude couldn't handle it. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Sammy, let's get to the big three here in hour number 1, where Sammy Long rips through the top stories in the world of sports. Sammy, smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
All right, Sammy, if you want to watch the show, is X working, by the way?
It is working.
Okay, you can watch the show on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. We love to interact with our YouTube guys like Jay Silves, who's already wishing happy birthday to Mama Long.
Oh, Jay Silves,
How
the
about
best.
that? On X, at Fletch and Sammy, find us there. Give us a retweet. Give us a comment. Like it. Subscribe. Follow. Do all the things. We'll follow you right back if you do. Sammy, where are we going?
All right, let's go to Cheetah. Tyreek Hill
Oh, my God.
cut from the Miami Dolphins yesterday. They cut a bunch of guys to save a bunch of cap space. The question is this: where should the Cheetah go at age 32? Drew Rosenhaus's agent said he's progressing well, coming off that massive leg injury.
Okay, can we all acknowledge something? I was going to start the show with this, but we had too much to get into. Can we all hear Sammy in his update today? Like, did everyone hear the hope that was in his voice? It was like, oh, Tyreek Hill, recently cut by the Dolphins, free agent. The Chiefs could use Tyreek Hill. That's what I heard. And oddly enough, I do think it's down to just a couple teams in my mind that make sense for Tyreek Hill. One of them is the San Francisco 49ers, actually, who need wide receiver age, experience. They're probably going to lose Juwan Jennings this offseason. Brandon Ayuk is gone forever. Ricky Pearsall, who you're relying on to be your wide receiver one? I don't think so. And I do think Tyreek Hill actually works at a Kyle Shanahan system. The other one, obviously, is the Kansas City Chiefs, who could absolutely use a wide receiver. Patrick Mahomes loves him. He would be cheap at this point in his career, which takes away the issue of the Chiefs the last time they had him. He was asking for too much money. So I think the Chiefs are probably the favorite right now. I do think the Niners might be number 2.
Come home.
Oh, my God.
Come home. Cheetahs like to graze in the Midwest. They have lots
in the Midwest?
Lots of ability to
What
roam.
cheetahs are natural to the Midwest?
Lots of room to run. Listen, let's get the boys back together. We got Travis, we got Kareem, Bieniemy's back. Add him with Rasheed and Worthy. Tyreek Hill, it would be the perfect marriage because the Chiefs desperately need. Worthy has struggled staying healthy. But Worthy's a really good receiver, but his problem is he has such a light frame that he has struggled staying healthy over the years. You have that vertical threat with him. If Tyreek joins the fold again, you let Rasheed run the slot. It would be an amazing homecoming. It'd be a full circle moment for the Cheetah to come back to KC. I think but you saw what happened. He went to Miami. He got his money. He won a ring with the Chiefs. Now I'm assuming to the point you were talking about, he's going to join a team that has a chance to win. So obviously Buffalo's going to try to get him. I think if you're Baltimore, you're going to try to get him.
What if the Eagles move on from A.J. Brown this offseason?
That'd be interesting. I guess if you traded him and you got it. But again, I think Tyreek is a guy. Remember why he also left the Chiefs? A, it was money. But number 2, he was averaging 10 targets a game that season or 11, and he wanted 15. So Tyreek it's a little A.J. Brown 2.0.
How old is Tyreek Hill?
He's 32. Just turned 32.
And this surgery was not exactly a small one. This was a brutal injury.
The one thing I'll say for Tyreek, though,
if Tyreek Hill loses a step in speed, is he still a top wide receiver in the NFL?
Because he's still faster than everyone. And the thing with Tyreek is I think Tyreek got unfairly categorized as just a gadget guy because he's so fast. Tyreek is actually a great receiver. We've seen guys that are as fast as Tyreek Hill, your John Rosses, there's been a lot of guys who can run the same 40 time, but they don't have the same lateral quickness that he has. So
Tyreek Hill is also an amazing high point catcher, which is weird when you look at his frame. He's a short guy.
He doesn't get enough credit for it.
He outjumps everybody, and he's able to catch the ball. He is a very, very. He reminds me a lot of Antonio Brown in the fact that no matter where the ball's thrown, he has a chance of catching it. I do think he's amazing, and he's going to make some team very, very happy.
Come home.
Maybe it's the Chiefs.
All right, let's go. We were off yesterday. Thoughts on the NBA All-Star Game? Shout out to former Aztec Keyshawn Johnson for winning the dunk contest. What did you make of the stars, stripes, and the world team
I really enjoyed it, and I gave it a chance. I didn't know how I'd feel about it, but I was proud of the NBA for trying something different, sort of capitalizing on what hockey did with the Four Nations face-off, which, by the way, hockey in the Olympics has been fantastic.
It's been so fun.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. But, like, the Team USA versus the World thing, the Stars, the Stripes, the who'sy, the whatsy, who cares? Here's what I liked about it. Wemby took this insanely seriously, was getting in guys' faces, was kind of taking that mantle of being the leader of All-Star Weekend and making everybody care about it. And then how about the guy, I'm not going to use the word lazy because that's not the right word, but maybe the most not caring NBA superstar that we've had over the last decade when it comes to actually playing on the court and actually playing in the regular season. And Kawhi Leonard, did anybody take this more seriously than Kawhi Leonard this weekend?
It's very on brand that Kawhi goes off in an All-Star game.
And he proved it once again that he is still maybe one of the best 2 or 3 players in the NBA.
When he's healthy.
He was dominating. I thought it was really fun. I thought they did a nice job with it. I give a lot of credit to the players who made it worth watching because they absolutely did. The NBA may have found something here. And I don't know. They need to do some tweaks.
Certainly.
I would not mind seeing, by the way, a style of Four Nations face-off in place of this All-Star weekend where you do something a little bigger where maybe it's Team USA and then you take the top teams like France, like Greece, and even if it's not NBA players, just bring them in. Bring the national teams in for
France
a
has a
week.
good NBA or a good team. Canada, like there's still a lot of stars in these countries.
Do some sort of face-off for the week instead of doing All-Star game activities.
I enjoyed it with this because I think doing the team, you had the world team, you have a natural rivalry between. There's been a lot made of it. Can the next face of the NBA with Curry and LeBron, Durant on their way out? Can they be from overseas? Can they be a Luka? Can they be a Jokic? Can they be a Shea from Canada? So you had a natural rivalry between that of who wants to prove better. Is the U.S. better? Is the world better? A lot of people have said the world has passed the U.S. And then you had another rivalry between the old guys, the Durant, I know Curry didn't play, but LeBron, all these guys who are vets in the league, and your young stars, your Tyrese Maxeys, your Anthony Edwards, your Jalen Johnsons. And you saw them really trying to win because they kind of this intercompetitiveness of no, we're the next stars. Everyone talks about how the European players are the next stars. We're the next stars. As you mentioned, I got to give Wembanyama a lot of credit. He yelled at, I think it was Siakam or Jamal Murray. I forgot if it the first one when
got in their face.
They missed the defensive rotation, and I don't think I've ever seen someone yell at someone for missing a defensive rotation in an All-Star game. So I liked it. I enjoyed it. I think they can build on it, but it was certainly better than what we've gotten for the last years now. It's been
Sammy, you like to make fun of me for this, but was this not the ultimate expression of if you care, I care?
No, it is.
That's exactly what that was. And the players cared about it, and it was a fun watch, man. So kudos to the NBA. Tweak it a little bit. It needs some changes.
Definitely.
And it was cool that Keyshawn won the dunk contest, but I think we could all probably move past the dunk contest as being a thing.
Every dunk has been done. That's cool.
Right. I don't know. And I think Darren Rovell had the tweet out. It was like the past 4 combined NBA dunk champions have had 43 combined minutes of playtime in the
Mac
NBA.
McClung is taking them all.
I just don't know that we need it. But there's no reason the NBA shouldn't own the calendar on the weekend of February 14th, 15th, 16th. Yeah. Like they should. They're going up against nothing, essentially. So why not make it a big event that everyone can get invested into? And a Four Nations face-off style event for a week could really work at this time in the year.
We can get into it on the other side because we're up against the clock here, but we're going to get into San Diego State, huge matchup tonight, taking on Grand Canyon. Keys to a Aztec win.
Huge game tonight for San Diego State. We'll also tell you what we're giving away on the other side. Stay tuned at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, stop what you're doing and listen up, everybody, because we got a big giveaway. We're doing this all week long. You're going to need to be a little lucky for this one, but this is worth it, I promise you. So SDFC, they're back coming up this Saturday. They got, who did they play the first game? Montreal, Saturday night, Snapdragon Stadium, opening up the season. And we want to send you to the game. But in order to go to the game, you got to be listening from noon to 6 every single day for your chance to not only win a pair of tickets to the game, but also a team jersey. So you listen for the SDFC sounder, which Sammy has control over.
And
he also has a notepad. You look very official over here, Sammy.
I look very official. Caller 7, I will write their name down, and then there'll be a random winner on Friday.
So you qualify once per hour. Anyone can qualify for these tickets. And then once you qualify, you got to be listening Friday, and we're going to announce the winner right here on San Diego Sports 760, which, wouldn't you know it, we're also the home of SDFC here.
Oh yeah. How about that?
So every game will be broadcast here on San Diego. Also, we got a bunch of SDFC guests coming up over the next week. We got Pellegrino joining the show coming up on Thursday. Yeah.
Chris McVeigh tomorrow. Very excited about that.
And then Pablo Cisniega, who's the goalkeeper. He was on fire in the CONCACAF game. So excited to have some guests on this week. It's looking like 1:00 on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll have Chris McVeigh and then Amal Pellegrino. And then 2:00 on Friday, Sammy and I might be doing some extended work on Friday. So looking forward to all of the SDFC action coming our way and coming your way, because Saturday night, SDFC taking on Montreal at Snapdragon Stadium. Also on Saturday, Aztecs basketball will be on the road to Colorado State. Now that game means a lot if tonight means a lot for San Diego State. They play against GCU. One of their only losses on the season came against Grand Canyon University. They got them back at Viejas tonight. This is kind of one of those moments where on the outside looking in, I can tell you this, the entire season hinges on tonight, but San Diego State really can't afford to look at this game this way.
Right. Yeah. It's a double-edged sword.
But the entire season kind of hinges on tonight for the San Diego State Aztecs. Now, if they happen to lose this game and then go perfect the rest of the way, I'm not saying they can't make the NCAA tournament as an at-large bid. They absolutely can. The difference is you'll need some help from a lot of people around college basketball. By winning tonight, you are putting yourself in primo positiono to go on a little bit of a run here at the end of the year and earn your way in without having to win the conference championship, without having to rely on other people just being bad. Like, I can't really put enough on tonight for San Diego State and how good this can set them up the rest of the season, even with a 2-point win.
Exactly. And a win tonight doesn't erase what happened a couple weeks ago, but everyone who watches Mountain West basketball knows that, and I'll give Grand Canyon credit for this. They did get up 14 with 10 minutes to go, and the Aztecs shouldn't have put themselves in that hole. But everyone who watched that game knows the final 7-8 minutes, the Aztecs flat out dominated and had a call not gone a certain way. A couple calls at the end of that game. Grand Canyon probably doesn't win that. This, Brian Dutcher talked about it. You know, this fits the bill of a revenge game. This is exactly what this is. You've been waiting. You feel like you got hosed. Had they won that game, they'd be sitting really pretty in the at-large bid circle. So there's a reason why the Aztecs, I think, are 8.5-point favorites tonight, despite the fact that they lost a month ago. This is an exciting game. I think with Magoon Guath back, we're still waiting on Elsie Harrington. Sounds like that's going to be a week away.
God, Magoon played good on Saturday night.
He was fantastic. It was nice to see him kind of work back in with the offense so seamlessly, because you always think about that when you have a star player. Obviously, you want Magoon Guath on the court or Miles Bird or Reese Dixon Waters, but when a team gets used to playing without you for a little bit and the ball movement's running, when you add a star back in it, it can take a little minute. That was not the case on Saturday. That was a fantastic performance, and really excited for tonight. I think the Aztecs going to get some get back.
It's huge, man. This is a big game tonight at Viejas Arena. Yeah, with Magoon Guath, seeing him come out and play, and he had that big smile on his face that I don't know that he had earlier in this season, but he was playing without the knee brace. He looked fully healthy. He looked faster to me. And to see him just fit right back in, he was 3 for 3 from 3. He had 5 blocks on the night. He only played like 10 or 11 minutes in the game, but made such an impact right away. And Dutcher's been saying it all year long, and he's absolutely right. This team is not nearly as good as it can be if Magoon Guath isn't on the court. He looked fantastic on Saturday. And I was talking to John during commercial break in the middle of the game, and I told him, I was like, what's most impressive about this is that game timing and game spacing are usually the last things that come back for a player.
Totally.
If they've been out due to injury. And Magoon found his spots on the court so easily on Saturday night. It was like he hadn't missed a beat. So that's great news for the Aztecs, who are going to need him for this home stretch, and go out there and get a big win tonight against Grand Canyon.
Speaking of Magoon Guap, Grand Canyon is a very guard-oriented team.
Yeah.
Henley, they have 2 players in double digits.
I think, wasn't Grand Canyon the first time around the first game Magoon missed?
The first game, I believe it was. So DeMiro, they only play one center legit minutes, DeMiro. So, and he only averages about 8 points a game. So this is a pretty thin team. Grand Canyon really relies on you coming there and it being such a raucous home environment. The Aztecs are obviously going to flip that tonight with Viejas packed and rocking. Magoon Guath, if he's able to dominate and you're having to drop some guards down low if you're Grand Canyon and not let the guards just go to work, because really it's a 2-man show at Grand Canyon with Henley and Williams. So I'm excited about this game. Again, I'm expecting a big performance from the Aztecs, and I think they're going to get it done.
7:00 tonight. Sammy and I got pregame for you starting at 6 from outside Viejas Arena. So come by, say hi, say what up, give a fist bump. We'd love to see you tonight at Viejas Arena. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Take a quick break here. On the other side, we're going to do some rankings here. Padres made a lot of moves. Which ones do we like the best? Which ones do we like the least? We'll tell you on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Sammy Long, I got a question for you. Do you know who the king is?
Cash.
Cash is king. That's exactly right. In Valley View Casino and Hotel, they're rewarding table game players every month during their thrilling Cash is King event. You can earn entries all month long through table gameplay by using your Players Club card. And with all your favorite table games in both low and high limits, earning entries is easy and fun. Then you join Valley View Casino and Hotel on Saturday, February 28th at their main stage bar for this month's Cash is King giveaway. $10,000 in cash are going to be given away to 45 guests all night long, with drawings to win $200 every hour starting at 7:00 until 10:00. Plus at 10:30, there's going to be a grand prize drawing of $400 for each of 5 lucky guests. Don't miss Cash is King on February 28th from 7 to 10:30 only at the Valley View Casino and Hotel. And of course, you're going to need that Players Club card to enter into the Cash is King event. If you're not a Players Club card, signing up is always quick, easy, and free. And when you join, you're going to get over $200 in free offers to enjoy at San Diego's favorite casino, including gift certificates for food, $10 of more play, $10 of match play. Get on out to Valley View Casino and Hotel, sign up for the Players Club, and don't miss out. Valley View Casino and Hotel, Saturday, February 28th. It's the Cash is King event. To learn more, visit valleyviewcasino.com. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the hotel, casino, and restaurants.
This was sponsored by Mattress Firm. Padres made a flurry of signings over the weekend. Walker Buehler, German Marquez, Griffin Canning, Nick Castellanos, and Ty France are all coming to the Padres for camp. Plus, AJ Preller per Kevin Acee is being extended through his contract. In the San Diego State back in action tonight, taking on Grand Canyon, the team that beat them by a point a month ago in Grand Canyon. Currently, Aztecs are 8.5-point favorites in this one. Hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760 starting at 7 o'clock with Schaefer on the call. Fletch and I get you going pregame starting at 6. Score major deals on top brands at Mattress Firm's President's Day sale. Find your dream mattress today. Their sleep experts are highly trained to find the right one to fit your unique needs. They make sleep easy.
All right, if you missed it, we're giving away SDFC tickets for this Saturday's match against Montreal, as well as a team jersey. You just got to listen for the SDFC sounder. It can happen at any time. Sammy is going to play a sounder every hour from today through Thursday. That once you hear it, you need to call the number 877-767-4760, and you qualify to win a pair of tickets to the opener as well as a team jersey. So stay tuned for that sounder. It hasn't played yet, has it, Sammy?
It has not.
Whoa.
So if it has to play once every hour,
you got about 25 minutes left in this hour to hear that sounder. So
I keep
around.
listening.
It can happen in the middle of me talking. It could happen right now for all we know. Okay, it didn't, but it could happen very, very soon.
It didn't happen right now.
It's going to happen soon. I promise you that. And then on Friday, we're going to take all the qualifiers, put them into a hat, pick one out, and you're winning a pair of tickets to the game plus a team jersey. So stay tuned. Some SDFC tickets are coming your way very, very soon. All right. Padres made 6 moves over the last, 3.5 days now since Nick Castellanos. Was that the first one to fall? Or Griffin
Castellanos
Canning?
was first, and then Marquez.
Canning, I think, was early also.
Canning, then it was Buehler, and then France.
Okay, and then Preller was in the middle of all that too. So that's 6 moves that I count. Let's rank them from 6th to 1st. Which one we like the best? Which one we like the least? Really, I kind of like all of them. So we're just going to power rank these things from number 6 all the way to number 1. I'll start at number 6, and I'm just going to throw out there German Marquez. Not his fault. However, the numbers are what the numbers are. He had a really bad year last year. This is a competitive thing, right? He's coming in to push everybody around him, maybe push himself to try to get that 5th and or 6th spot in the rotation, which the Padres have probably opened up at this point. So German Marquez is going to be the lowest on my list.
I'm gonna go Ty France, and it's not a shot to Ty France. He just
San Diego State alum, Sammy.
Hey, I'm happy he's here, but we're gonna be honest. He's a little bit of a platoon player for the Blue Jays. Was on the roster during the World Series. Had some moments.
Former All-Star with the Mariners.
Yeah, I know. I just think he's gonna get the least ability to play, and I just think the pitching position is much more pressing for the Padres. So right now, I have Ty France at number 6.
Yeah, Ty France is my number 5 for a lot of the reasons you just listed. But look around the Padres lineup. Where are you going to play him? How often is he actually going to play?
This is a pure depth piece that may not be on the roster opening day.
Correct. Your number 5,
German Marquez. Again, his numbers are frankly awful from last year, but it has to be taken into account. He is a young pitcher, was coming off an injury the year before, and when you play in Colorado, your numbers are going to look inflatedly worse. Just like the opposite, when you play in San Francisco, your pitching numbers look great. Like you pitchers look great and go other places. Marquez is my least favorite of the pitcher signings right now.
If you would like to do this alongside us, text line is open 70470. Start your message with the word team. We'll spend a lot of time over the next hour and a half going over these moves and what they mean for the Padres. But right now we're just kind of ranking them in order. So my number 6 was German Marquez. My number 5 was Ty France. My number 4 is going to be Griffin Canning. I like Griffin Canning a lot, but what has he proven at the big league level? We know he was a high prospect. We know he's bounced around quite a bit. Can he kind of put everything together for the Padres? This would be one of those pieces like a Seth Lugo, a Nick Pivetta even, where you've heard the name before. They've bounced around a little bit, and then they have their career best season with the Padres. God, that'd be great to see out of Griffin Canning, but I don't know what impact it has right off the jump.
Okay, I'm going to go Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler's a big name. He's the biggest name of any of these besides Nick Castellanos. He close out the World Series for the Dodgers. Pretty funny story with that when the Dodgers were running out of pitchers and Mark Pryor called him and he went down. He wasn't even warm, and Pryor asked him if he was warm to come in for the ninth, and he ended up coming in, closing it out. So the pros for Walker Buehler is this. This is a big game pitcher. This is a guy who's been in a lot of big games. He had an excellent Game 6 against the Braves in 2021 for the Dodgers, but his career is on a little bit of a downturn. He wasn't pitching very well at the beginning half of last season before the Dodgers traded him to the Red Sox, who then eventually cut him. But hey, who knows the Dodgers better than Walker Buehler? He's a nice depth piece. And again, if you're asking me Matt Waldron and JP Sears, some of these guys, or Walker Buehler, give me the upside with Walker Buehler to recapture a little bit of that magic, which made him a big-time pitcher back in the day.
He's my number 3 is Walker Buehler. So 2 left to go. I think you can all imagine where that's going. But Walker Buehler is my number 3. He was a Dodger. Otherwise, he'd probably be higher on this list for me. It does still have a little sting to it. I wonder how Padre fans feel about it. It's not like Walker Buehler was very well liked in San Diego before a couple days ago. Now everyone's going to be adopting him, right? And that's a good thing. That's a cool thing about sports.
Well, who cares if you didn't like him before?
Right. Now he's going to be pitching for you. You'd rather have him on his team than someone else's team. Here's what I will say. Tightest pants in Major League Baseball just joined the team. So ladies, buy your tickets now for the Padres. Is he still wearing those tight pants?
Oh, yeah.
Those are absurd. They're ridiculous and distracting. And is that a strategy against batters? Maybe, but it is distracting.
Tyler's saying I really liked the German Marquez signing.
So I like all these moves. This was actually kind of a hard list for me to rank. And honestly, the reason Ty France edged out German Marquez for me is because Ty France went to San Diego State. And I really liked Ty France when he was on the Padres, and I hated the fact that he went to the Mariners and was immediately an all-star. But I like Ty France a lot, and so I'm excited about that. Sammy, you're number 3.
My number 3, Griffin Canning. I'm really excited about this guy. I mean, last year only started 16 games, but a 3.77 ERA, the lowest of his career. I know the year before had a rough outing with the Angels, 32 starts, a 5.19 ERA, 4.32 the year before. So listen. This guy was a top prospect for the Angels. He was supposed to be the guy that was going to supplement Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani when they were with the Angels. It never really worked out. Then he was involved in a trade package to the Mets, and he kind of went downhill. But there's a lot of talent there, and he's young. This is a guy who broke into the major leagues in 2019. I'm excited for what Canning can do. And again, if he flames out, who cares? The upside of these signings, AJ Preller went with some serious upside signings with Marquez and Canning, even Walker Buehler. You're looking at guys who are kind of cast off, but has a lot of talent. I'm excited with Canning, and I think Canning could actually make a difference in this roster halfway through the season.
My number 2 is AJ Preller. He would be the number 1, the extension of AJ Preller, outside of the fact that who knows if it's still in place when new ownership takes over, which could be sooner than later, could be tomorrow, could be in 3 months from now, could be in a year from now. But if the new owners come in and don't want him as their general manager, that's the new owner's right when they come in and don't want him as the general manager. So we'll see what happens with AJ. But because of the fluidity of it, I can't put it as my number 1. But I think signing AJ Preller to an extension was absolutely key. And that's coming from a guy who 4 years ago, I was ready to see AJ Preller walk out the door. But man, he keeps hitting on these late spring training additions. He's the best GM in baseball at that. So congratulations to AJ on getting this signed and looking forward to seeing another year out of him.
Castellanos my number 2, 272 career hitter, 250 last year, hitting 17 bombs. If this guy repeats that, I mentioned it earlier in the show, Sheets hit 252 last year, and we universally praise Gavin Sheets. And honestly, to your point about AJ Preller, had Nick Pivetta and Gavin Sheets not been signed last year to the contracts they were signed, I don't think
playoff team.
I totally agree. I don't think they make the playoffs because if people remember, Gavin Sheets, I believe it was in the month of June, completely carried the team, and Nick Pivetta ended up being the one guy throughout the entire season, was the one pitcher that when the Padres threw out there, you were like, all right, feel pretty good about the Padres' chances of winning tonight. So Castellanos, if he repeats the same season he had last year, it's essentially Gavin Sheets. And again, you're talking about highly motivated. Philly trashed his name on the way out. This is a guy coming off a 5-year, $100 million contract. And Castellanos is a big game player. People forget the Phillies haven't got over the hump, but a lot of that has been because Trey Turner or, Schwarber and Harper are great players, but the stars haven't always aligned at the biggest times for Philadelphia. Castellanos has come up in some really big moments for the Phillies over the years. He'd be great if the Padres get to the postseason. He'd be great indeed. Castellanos is my number 1. Big name. The dude should have an attitude after getting cut by the Phillies the way he did. He and Manny have known each other forever. They're paying $20 million of his salary, the Phillies.
Exactly. So he and Manny Machado grew up together in Miami. I don't know if everybody knows that, but this is a very cool signing for the Padres. And it's 2026. There's a lot of chaos and weirdness in the world. We know who steps up the biggest when bad things happen, and that's Nick Castellanos. See the Tom Brenneman soundbite, see the Memorial Day soundbite. Nick Castellanos has a habit of hitting home runs when the world is crumbling around. So, you know what, Don Orsillo, you better get ready, pal, because Nick Castellanos is going to step over some emotional moments.
My number one is AJ Preller. I think this was the most pressing need for the Padres. AJ Preller, has everything he's done worked out? No, but overall, what this guy has been able to do, and even like take the Juan Soto deal, right? At the end of it, anyone makes that deal, and it's easy to look back in revisionist history and go James Wood and CJ Abrams and Mackenzie Gore. Obviously, you had to make the deal for Juan Soto. If it came out that Juan Soto, they had a deal in place to become a Padre, and AJ Preller said no, he would have been fired the next day after it. And then to flip Juan Soto and get a lot of prospects back. I mean, you get Michael King. You end up flipping some of that into Dylan Cease. I give AJ Preller a lot of credit. Last offseason with no money ever since the late great Peter Seiler passed away. They haven't been spending money at the clip that you would have liked. Gavin Sheets, affordable contract. Nick Pivetta, 4 years, $55 million with a backloaded deal so he'd come back. Think about a couple months ago, Michael King, 3 year, $75 million deal. Everyone thought Michael King was on his way out. It's a collection of 1 year, $25 million deals. AJ Preller, for not always having the most flush pocketbook, has really been able to build this team out. And if the Padres don't win a World Series or don't get close, it is not going to be because AJ Preller did not give him the best chance. It's going to be because, like years past, the stars did not show up in the biggest moments. I gave AJ Preller all the credit in the world. I'm happy they signed him to a long-term deal.
Here we go. Just going to rip through some text here before we get to long shots. 913 Walker Bueller. What? This is almost at a treason level. 484 for a Padres fan that misses Tommy Pham's antic. Nick Castellanos says, hold my beer. All jokes aside, you get a guy that Philly is paid 94.6% of his salary. He isn't a $20 million a year guy, more like 10 or 12, but still you're getting him on the cheap.
Nick and Tommy at Cheetahs?
Dude, could you imagine? I think Pacers was actually Tommy's place.
Pacers.
That's where the stab happened. Let's see. 913 said, I fear the Dodgers are so rich and corrupt they are paying Walker Bueller to sabotage the Padres. Could be a problem.
Walker Bueller got traded by the Dodgers.
He doesn't like the Dodgers anymore. Yeah. 858. At this point, Padres could have signed a rock, and I would have been hyped, but they checked all their boxes this weekend, and honestly, I'm impressed again by AJ.
Jay Silves is really I can't see the comment all the way up there, but he's loving Nick Castellanos.
I think the Nick Castellanos signing is good, man. I really do. I think it's going to work out. I said that on Friday when Coach kind of said, I don't think they need him. I was like, I think he's exactly what the Padres need. Hit for power. 20 homers, 260. I'm happy. I mean, that's
again, in all these signings, what's great about it, why we're all positive today, is if none of them work out,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. This is not a Xander Bogaerts situation where you're like, oh man, if he doesn't come through, this team's kind of screwed for years to come. All these guys, if they suck in spring training or they don't come through, it's a quick transaction. We never hear from them again. This is a shot in the dark. Think of the last couple of years. Connor Joes, Jason Haywards, all these kind of guys. Nick Castellanos is a better version of all those players. Hopefully it pans out.
Yeah, we'll see, man. It's going to be fun, though. Coming up on Friday, the first spring training.
Calm down on the text line, okay?
We're lots of Pacers texts coming in. You just have to light that beacon, and all of a sudden everybody starts coming your way. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. I made some money on long shots this weekend. I don't know about all you.
Keyshawn, winning the dunk contest.
Let's hear a new one coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. By the way, there's some very, very juicy news in the world of MMA that we're going to get to in hour
Yes,
two.
there is.
But someone is taking a shot at the king, and we'll tell you all about it coming up in hour number 2. But this is, the golf PGA Tour Live split. I feel like there may be another one coming, but this time to the world of professional fighting.
We're going to get into it, and that's what the UFC has been able to avoid so far,
right,
which is what has hurt boxing, is how siloed promoters are with fighters. Hopefully that doesn't happen in the UFC.
Well, we've seen rival MMA leagues, like Bellator is a thing. Was it Pride forever in the early 2000s?
Professional fighting league now.
Right. And so there's been rivals to the UFC, but nothing has gotten the buzz that this just got. So we'll tell you all about that coming up in hour number 2. But right now it's time for Sammy Long to make us all some money. Dude, I was so close, Sammy, from turning $10 into $700 this weekend.
Betting on your boy Scotty.
Dude, it was early because he had that bad first round at Pebble, and I threw $10 on him to come all the way back and win because it's a no-cut event. So even if you start bad, you're going to be in the weekend. And Scotty came all the way back, man, and he was there. He had 3 eagles in his final round, but a couple of bogeys as well doomed it. So almost turned a little money into a lot of money, but right now it's time for you to do the exact same thing, Sammy. I did cash on your key shot pick. Nicely done.
Yes, key shot came through. My Jayhawks got dismantled. Unfortunately, the UCLA Bruins, I thought were going to put up a fight against Michigan. Did not. They lost by 30.
No. All right, well, Sammy, let's get to it. Long shots.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance.
Pay that man his money.
With long shots.
For some reason, those were the only 2 bets I placed this weekend. Keyshot and Scotty, and they were separate tickets. So I won.
Are you saying you didn't place long shots?
I did not place long shots. That might be the first time in like 6 months I haven't placed long shots, and I won. So maybe take that under
I'm going to
advisement.
forgive you because Arizona got beat by Texas Tech. But I'm hitting so the association is not back tonight. We have an all college basketball parlay.
I like it. Where are we going?
Okay, so I just got done crapping on UCLA.
But
they're in Lansing taking on Michigan State. Give us UCLA plus 7.5. I know people are going, Sammy. You know I'm not being a homer. I grew up a USC fan. I'm not a Bruin fan. But again, playing Michigan is one thing. The front court of Michigan is fantastic. They're the number 1 team in the country. They got a great matchup against Purdue actually tonight, which will be very fun. UCLA only had 3 players in double digits. Donovan Dent did not have the best night scoring at 10. They didn't have it going. And Bilodeau, who normally averages about 18 points per game, only had 10 as well. I think against Michigan State, they are on the cut line. Michigan State is a damn good basketball team, but UCLA needs this game a lot more than they do coming off that brutal loss to Michigan. You're on the road. They didn't go home, taking on Michigan State. I think they cover the spread. Give me the spread. If you can get it at plus 8.5 or plus 7.5, the line is actually moving toward Michigan State. So I go lock that in right now. All right, Wisconsin, Ohio State, 5:30 FS1. Give me, this was tough for me. Give me Ohio State minus 1.5. Now, old friend Nick Boyd, former Aztec, has really had Wisconsin humming. They're the 24th ranked team in the country. They just had a massive win. They actually just beat up on Michigan State, team we were just talking about, 92-71. Nick Boyd had a great game. Nick Boyd and John Blackwell kind of run the team for them with Wisconsin. Nick Boyd averages about 21 points per game, and Blackwell averages about 19. Winter also chips in about 14. But again, Ohio State, we're getting to the point now where these teams on the cut line, your UCLAs, your San Diego States, your Ohio States, your Iowas, these teams need big wins. Ohio State, nothing more than a big win after Wisconsin dismantles Michigan State the other night. I think coming off that big win, there's going to be a little bit of a letdown for Wisconsin. Give me Ohio State minus 1.5. I think they get it done at home. And then let's go to Nebraska and Iowa. For everything I just said, Iowa's on the cut line. They need this game. Give me Nebraska, though. Give me Nebraska, currently 1.5 point favorites on the road. They open as 1.5 point dogs. It's swung. Nebraska's desperately looking for a signature win. So I think people kind of have this thing with Nebraska where it's a great story. It's fun. It's obviously a massive football program, one of the big football programs of all time back in the day. But the basketball program has never been the same because Kansas usually takes all the big recruits in the Big 12. but they put together a really nice team this year. Hoiberg has been fantastic for them. But take me them because Purdue, they lost to Purdue in overtime. They lost to Michigan in a tight one on the road. They haven't been able to crack it against the best top-tier competition, which is why they're the current 9 seed right now in the AP poll. But give me against Iowa tonight. I think they're just the better team. They have beaten all the inferior competition this year. I think Nebraska covers the spread plus 1.5. Iowa's 1.5 point favorites on the road. So, recap. Nebraska getting 1.5 points on the road. Give me that. I like Ohio State to cover the spread against Nick Boyd and Wisconsin. A little bit of a letdown after that massive win over Michigan State. Ohio State minus 1.5. And I'm believing in the UCLA Bruins. I think they cover plus 8.5, plus 7.5. Dent is going to have a big game tonight, and they need to signature win.
Don't even look at the text line, Sammy. It's going to be too tricky to bounce around through those. So we're gonna avoid a little bit here, I think.
Oh my God, 484.
It is funny from the 484, but I don't know if we can do that. But
it's her birthday.
Nick Castellanos is a power bat. Thank you, 484. We needed that. We got plenty more reaction to the Padres moves. Plus, I haven't heard the sounder yet, Sammy. Have you heard the sounder?
I haven't heard the sounder. So
SDFC tickets.
If there's 3 minutes left and we have to play one in the hour, it's almost like it would appear in the next couple minutes.
I think it's probably happening in the next couple minutes. So keep listening for the SDFC sounder. You can win tickets plus a team jersey will be given away on Friday. You qualify by hearing the sounder and then calling 877-767-4760. So stay tuned for that. Kevin Acee coming up in hour number 2 in San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
On the other side, Anders, 1v3. Anders on his left, Anders, gol! El paletero! Param, param, pam, param, pam, pam. Golazo!
The sport is sponsored by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Padres made a bunch of signings over the weekend, including they have extended AJ Preller. His contract was going to run out at the end of the season. He will be back with the Padres for the foreseeable future. Plus, 34-year-old slugger Nick Castellanos is coming to the squad alongside German Marquez, Griffin Canning, Walker Buehler, and Ty France. And the Aztecs tonight taking on Grand Canyon live on the Mesa. Aztecs lost a heartbreaker a month ago to this team on the road. Aztecs currently 8.5-point favorites in that one. Of course, you have the game right here on San Diego Sports 760 with Schaefer going at 7. Fletch and I got your pregame starting at 6. Capital One offers no fees or minimums on checking accounts, and most Capital One cafes are open 7 days a week to assist with your banking needs. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One NA, member FIDIC.
Welcome to the Flex Zone.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Well, don't keep us in suspense any longer. Show us what you got.
An extended weekend with a lot to cover. AJ Preller makes a deal.
Nick Castellanos is going to be continuing his big league career. He's going to join the San Diego Padres.
Then gets a deal of his own.
And speak about AJ, I think it's just genuine. You know, he's truthful to all his players, loyal to the guys, and it's awesome to see that he's going to be here.
The Aztecs are back on the Mesa versus Grand Canyon.
TCU survives and wins 70-69.
Looking for some payback. Chaos in Major League Baseball as the head of the Players Union walks away.
Last year, the FBI and the Department of Justice started an investigation into the MLBPA, and since then, questions percolated about Tony Clark's standing, the resignation, leaves a vacuum at the top.
And the NBA All-Star Game looked like an actual basketball game.
I don't believe I heard you correct.
All that and more as we react to it from the studios of San Diego Sports 760 inside the Fletch Zone.
It's hour 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John Schaefer is going to take over then. We got Kevin Acee coming up at 1:30 to react to all the Padres news over the weekend with us. We also got some pretty awesome news out of the fight world, if I may say so, just coming up in a little bit. And we have one more opportunity for you to win a pair of SDFC tickets for this Saturday's match against Montreal at Snapdragon Stadium, the opener of the season. You got to do that by qualifying. Sammy, we just got our first qualifier. Do you have a name?
J Money, Jeremy.
J Money. Jerome, what up, dog? So by qualifying, you just have to listen for the sounder. We have figured out a way to make sure the sounder goes out on YouTube as well if you're on YouTube. So just keep listening. That other sounder will play at some point during this hour. Maybe in the middle of us talking. Maybe in the middle of a commercial break.
You'll have to be listening.
Sammy gets control of the button, which is a problem for everybody. But if he hits it, you better be listening. Then you got to call 877-767-4760. If you're caller number 7, you get a you get a qualified to win a pair of tickets to SDFC's opener this season.
People are sending not for air texts that are very funny right now.
Dude, they are good. I'm appreciating what the text line's doing. And if Sammy and I were podcast only, we'd be rolling with them. But right now, we're not podcast only. The FCC has us by the short and curly. So we're going to stay tuned here on San Diego Sports 760. I will say this. If anyone missed the news out of the fighting world that I was talking about, Ronda Rousey's back. Ronda Rousey, who was literally a tentpole of the UFC, was the first woman to win the judo Olympic gold medal out of the United States. Ronda Rousey, big freaking deal, made her way into Hollywood, made her way into the WWE. Love her or hate her.
A star on Entourage.
Ronda Rousey is legit. If she were to be on a UFC event today, it would be one of the highest selling UFC events ever because she has that kind of star power. What the UFC has been missing since Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor haven't been fighting as much. Well, Jake Paul took advantage of the situation, and Jake Paul has now backed up the Brinks truck with his MVP promotions, and he's signed up Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano, who's also a superstar, for a Netflix streamed MMA event that's coming up. When is this, Sammy? Is this in May?
Yeah, it's going to be on Jake Paul's card. Jake Paul MVP Promotions putting it on.
This is huge. It's going to be on Netflix only. So I think this is setting up potentially is Jake Paul is dipping his toe into the MMA waters. It's going to be a hexagon cage. It's going to be 5 rounds, 5 minutes each. It's going to be sanctioned by the same rules that govern over the UFC. And what we're seeing is all of a sudden a contender in the world of MMA, which UFC has had a monopoly over for years now. And if there's one thing that people have complained about with the UFC, is fighters kind of get shafted in terms of payment. Unless you rise through the ranks and become a superstar, you're not getting the type of money you probably should be getting. MVP has touted itself from the get-go as a fighter first platform. We don't see the books or anything. We don't know how true that is, but
Jake Paul, to his credit, does pay his guys, does pay his fighters up and down the card, because a lot of people will pay the top fighters, but they won't pay the co-mains, the card openers, the prelims. He actually, to his credit, does pay him up and down.
If I'm Dana White, I'm on the phone all day today with John Jones, with Conor McGregor, and trying to figure out some way to make sure the UFC is still the biggest story in the world of MMA, because right now it's not. Right now, Ronda Rousey and Jake Paul are.
Well, what people always ask, they're like, well, why do boxers never get in the octagon, and why do UFC fighters go box? Because there's a bunch of money in boxing. For all boxing's flaws, for everything of all the fights we haven't gotten over the years, for all the big time matchups that we looked at, we're like, we didn't get that, or in Mayweather Pacquiao's case, should have happened in 2011, ends up happening in 2015. The big money's over there. So you see, this is why you see Ilya Topuria calling out Shakur Stevenson. This is why you see Conor McGregor cross over to fight Mayweather. That's why you see Sean O'Malley calling out Tank Davis after he won. They want the big paydays. Yeah, it's interesting. Now, Dana White's obviously got into boxing. Zuffa, he just started. And to the point you were making, they have a monopoly on the MMA. If you're an MMA fighter and you claim you're the best in the world, and you're not fighting in the UFC, it's tough for you to make that claim, because the UFC is where, quote, pretty much all the most of the best MMA fighters are. And it is interesting. It's like, listen, if you can make your own money and you can promote the event yourself, the UFC gives people the fights they want to see. But the UFC's problem is that they don't really have a star anymore, because McGregor is past his prime, hasn't fought anymore. John Jones, I believe, is like 38 years old. Where is the new young superstar that's going to headline? Like Conor McGregor Conor McGregor's bigger than the UFC. They don't have that right now, at least in the pipeline.
No, the other thing Jake Paul did with this was, well, look, they're both pretty controversial figures with Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey. There's a lot of people that can't stand either of them. There's a lot of people that love both of them. Our buddy SD Rob jumping in on YouTube talking about some things that we probably won't read, but the fact remains, like, it's not like this is the best fight you could possibly schedule. Ronda Rousey, last time we saw her out, didn't really look like Ronda Rousey that was literally knocking everybody out on her way to being the top. But these are two very recognizable names, because Gina Carano, she's been in a bunch of movies. She was in Deadpool. She was in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, she's in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, she was a big...
She got fired for some comments.
Right. And Ronda Rousey, we all know exactly what Ronda Rousey is. So this is big names attached to a Netflix event. They're going to beat the crap out of each other. This will be hugely watched. And this is also Netflix kind of going middle finger to Paramount Plus, if we're being honest. I do think that this is going to open up a doorway to potentially some fighters who are maybe with the UFC, whose contracts are up, being like, oh, there's another place I can go make more money and potentially get more eyeballs and more endorsements on me. Like, I don't know that this is the event that power starts to shift, but it opens up the door for a power shift in the world of mixed martial arts. And the UFC has been kind of operating without an opponent. And I love the UFC, man. I have so much fun watching these fights, but opponents do sometimes make things stronger. And while in the world of golf, this did not work at all with Live Golf coming in, maybe Jake Paul has the money to back this thing up, and this does a service for MMA fans in the future. All right, let's get to the big three here of hour number 2, where Sammy Long rips through the top stories in the world of sports. Sammy, smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The big three.
All right, Sammy, where do you want to start?
After all the signings the Padres made, you got Castellanos, Marquez, Buehler, Canning, France, all of them. And AJ Preller getting extended, if you want to throw that in there. Do you have the Padres at number 2 in the division right now? Do you boost their stock? Last week we talked about the power rankings. ESPN had them at 13. Where would you put them now? Same, lower, or higher?
Closer to the top 10, I would say. If not 10 or 11. Like, I don't... Do they jump the Astros? Maybe, in my mind. Look, the biggest thing the Padres were missing coming into last weekend was depth. And that's depth in the starting pitching. That's depth in terms of bench pieces who can come in and pinch hit. They were missing depth. They now have depth. They have depth all over the roster. This was a huge weekend for them. The only place I'm really worried about the Padres is the catching position, because I don't know if Luis Campusano is good enough to be a number 2 at this point. But other than that, look all over the field. They got replacements for everybody in case of health. They have great pinch hitting options late in games. They have platoon situations all over the field that they can go to. Rest should not be an issue for the starting rotation. Sammy and I were talking about it before the show. They absolutely have the ability right now to start the season on a 6-man rotation and really slow work Joe Musgrove into this. Make sure Michael King is fully back and healthy. I think the Padres are easily second in the NL West right now, and I would have them towards the top 10 of baseball.
I agree. I think, are they a favorite of the NL? No. The Dodgers, I have ahead of them. I still have the Phillies ahead of them. I have the Mets ahead of them.
Brewers probably got to be in that conversation.
Brewers got to be in the conversation. And then you get to your point about the Astros and Braves. Those are perennial teams that are usually towards the top of the NL, but had down seasons last year. Everything. I mean, we had Danny Vietti on a week ago from CBS Sports talking about, literally, to be fair to the Braves, everything that went wrong could have went wrong. You expect them to be back in the picture. And the Astros are always that team that's always going to be there. I do think it was a nice response to the Diamondbacks getting Arenado. They signed Zach Gallen back. Burns is coming back. Then you got the Giants, Luis Arraez there. So there was a lot of good pub for every other team in the NL besides the Padres. It was nice to see them kind of go, hey, we're still here too. And I don't think the Padres are closer to the top than those teams. So the Giants and the Diamondbacks had to make larger scale moves, I think, to be relevant. But it was nice seeing the Padres fill in on the edges because the lack of a fifth starter was really pressing, and I'm glad that they did it. I would have them as number 2 in the NL West right now. I think they're certainly above the Giants. I think them and the Diamondbacks are going to be competing all season long. All right, let's head to the NBA. Adam Silver talking about NBA tanking over the weekend. So the Pacers and the Jazz both got fined last week for tanking. The Jazz actually got fined $500K. They ended up winning the game despite taking everyone out of it. But Adam Silver said there's, quote, there's talk about every possible remedy now to stop this behavior. Mark Cuban, who used to own the Dallas Mavericks, actually chimed in and talked about how the NBA should embrace tanking. And when they got into the business, it wasn't about necessarily winning every game. It was about building the best product. That's a big paraphrase. A, how would you fix the tanking issue? And would you change that with the draft lottery, or do you think it is an issue right now?
Tanking issue can be resolved pretty easily, and it's by letting less teams into the postseason, because you are able to tank 1 year and with one big move be able to be right back in the postseason conversation, because half of each conference get into the postseason. So I think trimming down the number of teams who make it to the postseason increases competition, makes that battle between 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 a little more meaningful than it is right now, because right now half the league can tank, the other half of the league could just be kind of good, and you got your postseason teams versus your not postseason teams. Column B here. This is so on brand for the NBA. I would largely cover this weekend as very positive for the NBA. Dunk contest, pretty fun. Everything we've seen before, but pretty fun. And here locally, we had a story to latch onto, which was very cool in Keyshawn Johnson. NBA All-Star Game, best it's been in a decade plus, 15 years.
Easy.
Like, it was actually really cool. Like, since Kobe was in his heyday, forcing everybody to compete in the NBA All-Star Game, this is as good as it's been. And it was good because everyone cared about it, and we're trying really hard to represent, and it worked. But in the middle of all this, all we had was negative news about the NBA and tanking and fines given out. And Steph Curry's being asked about this, and Adam Silver's being asked about this. So instead of being able to celebrate a really cool NBA weekend, we have to end up focusing on this, which is very on brand for the NBA over the last 15 years.
This is how you fix tanking in the NBA. And you're never going to fix, like, yes.
It's okay if 1 or 2 teams are tanking per year, like happens in the NFL. It's bad when 7 or 8 teams are tanking.
Right. Is it a great look for the league when the Jazz are running guys out there that, unless you're a diehard NBA fan, you don't know who they are? As someone who loves the NBA and watches every night, I'm always going to watch. I understand where people get frustrated with it. I think, though, if you took the play-in, they made the play-in 7 through 10, which I've liked. I liked that the 10 seed, if you win 2 road games during the postseason, it creates a little bit more, what should I say, a little more drama down the stretch if teams have close records. I think that if you're in the play-in, so you're 7 down on each side, you're entered in the draft lottery. Because if you think about it like this, the top 6 teams in each conference, yes. Do the Lakers and Thunder have different odds to win the NBA championship? 100%. Am I sitting here saying I think the Lakers are going to win the NBA championship? No. But it's not crazy to think that the Lakers with Luka, Reeves, and LeBron could go on a little bit of a run. Whereas you take a 10 seed, you take I don't know, the Phoenix Suns. No one believes the Phoenix Suns are going to go win a championship. Are they playing good basketball this year? Yes. Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, and Devin Booker. But so there's less incentive where if you took the top 6 of East Conference out of it, because every team in the top 6, if you look at the Eastern Conference, every team in the top 6 and the West has a real case as to why they could make a run in the NBA postseason. If you took the play-in teams out of it and included them in the NBA draft lottery, I think there would be less tanking from teams that are like, if you're the 9 or 10 spot, you're like, and I'm out of the lottery right now. If I'm a 10 seed or a 9 seed, I'd rather lose and be the 11 like the Mavs did a year ago than be a 10 seed knowing I'm not really going to go that far in the NBA playoffs. So I think if you took it 7 down and everyone entered in the draft lottery, if you gave them an equal chance, it would take away tanking and teams would be a lot more competitive down the stretch. All right, let's head to golf. Tiger Woods does not rule out him possibly playing in the Masters today at a presser. Do we want to see the great Tiger playing in the Masters once again?
Always more Tiger. I'm good with it. It was sad last time we saw him out. Felt like he could hardly walk. Or first time we heard from him this year when he was asked about questions, he kind of joked and was like, yeah, I'm getting ready for 25 events this year. That was never going to be the case. And he was laughing. The reporters were laughing. We all get that. But if there's one event you want to see Tiger at as much as possible, it is the Masters, because quite frankly, he has a chance to win it. There's nobody that knows Augusta better than Tiger Woods. There's nobody that's played Augusta better than Tiger Woods outside of maybe Jack. But you look at a field where Tiger could actually capitalize, because it's not just about hitting the ball a million miles. It's not just about having the strongest irons in the world. No, it's about placement. And Augusta is one place where Freddie Couples is able to compete every year, even though he hits his driver 250 when guys are hitting at 350. So yeah, I would love to see Tiger at Augusta for the very reason, like, I like watching Tiger Woods play golf, and it's a spectacle in and of itself. But also that may be the only course in modern golf where he could actually compete still.
I'm piggybacking on what you said. It's always great when Tiger Woods, one of the most famous, not only obviously most famous golfers, but most famous athletes to play. It's a spectacle. If he's even in remote contention, it's a big deal for ratings and for the Masters. But it is a little, it's like when he won it, what year was that he won it again?
18 or 19?
18, 19. And it was like, it was awesome. It was so cool seeing him, with the red shirt coming on Sunday.
It was my first year in San Diego, so I think 18.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds right. 2018. It's like, I remember watching First Take the next morning, and they were talking about how many more majors he's going to win. And because of injuries, because of other circumstances, it just hasn't come through. It's like, you don't want to remember Tiger as, not that people are going to not remember Tiger's greatness. It's just he keeps running out there and his body is breaking down. He obviously is not what he once was. And sometimes it's a little hard to see. You want to, like, these mythical figures like Tiger Woods, your Kobe Bryants, your Michael Jordans, your Brady's. You kind of want to remember them for them at their peak. So him kind of running out here as a shell of himself is not always my favorite to watch. But of course, if he somehow does it, or if he's somehow in contention, it is great for the sport, and I know you and I would love to be watching that.
It'd be great, man. All right, we got to take a quick break. Kevin Acee in 10 minutes at San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you. We have not played the sounder yet for hour number 2, so stay tuned if you want to win a pair or qualify to win a pair of SDFC tickets for this Saturday's match against Montreal, the opener for the 2026 season of SDFC, which of course will be heard right here on San Diego Sports 760. Hey, big week in U.S. hockey. So men's team gets going tomorrow in the playoffs of the Olympic bracket. Women's team has Canada on Thursday for the gold medal game. Let's get it going.
We're favored minus 450.
Well, Team USA women's team has beaten everybody by at least 4 points. In fact, the only team that scored a goal on them so far is Czechia in their very first game. So other than that, they've held everybody scoreless. So Team USA women's hockey going for the gold. Let's get that gold. Then the men's bracket is going to be insane. Have you been watching Olympic hockey?
Oh yeah, we got the winner of Latvia and Sweden. Sweden's the third best team in the bracket. They did have a big injury loss though, Kevin Fiala.
And Team USA already beat the crap out of Latvia.
Yes, so we'll see. Latvia's decent. It was fun watching them play Germany because Leon Draisaitl, who's one of the best players in hockey for Edmonton, was Matthew Tkachuk, who's beat him twice with the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup final, was chirping him on the bench. It was great. These guys are like getting after it. And like Austin Matthews, people have kind of been criticizing why he hasn't been scoring so much. They're going to need that scoring from Matthews and the Tkachuk brothers if they want to beat Canada, who smoked someone 10-2 in the tournament. But
the intensity has been through the roof on the men's side of the bracket. The women's side has been dominated by Team USA, and hopefully they can bring home gold coming up on Thursday. But the men's side is going to be fun, man. So this playoff round, it's what they got like 5 straight days of games. And then Sunday at 5 a.m. is the potential gold medal game.
Ooh, I know. I'm definitely waking up for that.
What bar are we going to at 5 a.m.
Seriously,
on Sunday?
100%. I can't wait. Everyone's expecting it's America, Canada. Sweden's the only team that could, because it's the only other team in the tournament that has all NHL players. But we're better than them.
If there is a bar that people are going to, please don't hide it, divide it. We want to know because we want to come
70470. Start your mess with team. Dude,
I 5 a.m. match specifically. I'm down to get blackout drunk by the time 10 a.m. rolls around.
Dude, I keep watching curling. It is
same. It's on
so
all the time.
Fun.
Curling is on nonstop. Like the most Olympic coverage of any sport so far has been curling.
I gotta say, the second week of the Olympics has been fantastic. Like the first few days is figure skating, which is cool, but that's about like the skiing is kind of shalom skiing.
The bobsledding, dude.
Yeah. Did you see?
I was a fan of Team Germany for a second, is all I'm saying, for bobsledding only. That's a cool event, man. The skeleton, the downhill, going like 90 miles an hour.
Dude, now the speed skating's fantastic.
Everything has been fantastic. Did you see Jake Paul's fiance?
Yeah.
When she won gold, now she's about to be in line for like $100 million from Nike because she was wearing a Nike sports bra.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she's about to get she's going to be the next Nike athlete.
What is with the Netherlands being great at speed skating? Like, is this all they do all day? They just speed skate?
Also, coincidence that Norway's in the lead with the most gold medals. Do you know what Norway people do with their babies?
What?
They leave them outside in the cold at night. They'll leave their babies in carriages outside on their balconies.
That cannot be real.
Look it up. I know.
What
that
do you mean they leave?
Times I say things. That's what they do.
What happens if the babies
the babies don't freeze? The babies are fine. The babies just stay outside in the cold.
They put them in a carrier just outside
in the cold. That's where they sleep all night.
That can't be real.
It's true. In blizzards, it's true. Look it up, and we'll talk to Kevin Acee.
Where is your reporting on that?
It's a thing that they've done forever.
This sounds like something Travis Dale told you.
No, this is the thing. I actually told him about it, and then we looked it up, and it's true. San Diego Sports 760, Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, is coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Listen live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport's sponsored by the West Automotive Group. Padres made a flurry of moves over the weekend. AJ Preller extended after heading into the season as on the final year of his deal. Nick Castellanos, 34-year-old slugger from the Philadelphia Phillies, on his way to San Diego alongside German Marquez, Griffin Canning, as well as Walker Buehler in Thai, France. And the Aztecs back in action tonight, taking on Grand Canyon, the team that beat them a month ago in Arizona. This time, Aztecs are 8.5-point favorites. Mogun Guath will be making his second game back from injury. We got the game at 7 o'clock on San Diego Sports 760 with Schaefer on the call. Fletch and I got you pregame started at 6. The West Automotive Group is San Diego's largest independent automotive and transmission service and repair facility. Get a no-charge AAA 40-point inspection with any other service or repair. Book an appointment now at westautomotivegroup.com.
If you're looking for those SDFC tickets, stay tuned. The Sounder has yet to play this hour. Once you hear it, call 877-767-4760 to qualify. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. If it's your first time joining us, hello. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. And every Tuesday during the Padres season, we're going to talk to one man and one man only. His name's Kevin Acee. He writes for the Union Tribune. He is our Padres insider. Hi, Kevin.
Hey guys, how are you?
We're doing great, man. It feels like it was an off season of no news and a weekend of a ton of news. What was your weekend like? Did you sleep?
Yeah, because spring training, you kind of ease into it at that point, like the workouts hadn't really started. I mean, pitchers and catchers, they're done after half a day, and there's not as many people to talk to, all that, but yeah, it was busy, man. And this is the sphere that the Padres operate in now. There's like the fact is that 3 off seasons now that I shouldn't say that. There was the Juan Soto trade at the winter meetings 3 years ago. But let's call it 2 off seasons that like they do nothing and then boom, they got to get it done in spring training, and they get the low dollar guys, and they're hoping that they hit.
All right, where do you want to start, Kevin? Which move do you want to start with? AJ Preller's contract, Griffin Canning, Nick Castellanos. Where do you want to start?
Well, I know that in terms of web traffic, Walker Buehler blew them all away.
Really?
Because there's nothing Padres fans like more than a former Dodger being on their team now, is what I gather. We can start there. They're all intriguing. They really are. But Preller obviously was the big talking point, which was, whatever. It's like I said to both Seidler and to John Seidler and Preller, man, there was only 250 days before this contract ran out. Got it just under the wire. Like, wow. Like everyone was acting like, oh my gosh, he's halfway out the door. It was going to get done. It got done, but it's still fascinating. Preller's fascinating. Where do you guys want to start? Because I am at your wish is my command.
I'm curious with the AJ Preller contract, how much did Manny Machado's comments on the first day of spring training have to do with that?
Zero. I wrote last Thursday that 3 people said it was probably going to get done by Monday. When did it get done?
Zero. The timing is kind of crazy, Kevin.
Zero.
The timing. Zero. Can you admit the timing's a little crazy?
It's funny. It's great. Worked out for Manny. It gave us all a good chuckle. It was really cool. I will say this. What Manny said he meant, and then when I thought it was really cool, yesterday, Manny's quotes about, hey, players aren't BSing when we say this about AJ. Like, we know he cares about us, and that is something. That's big. Nick Castellanos talked about it when he came. Like, AJ Preller has been, first off, given the chance to be the general manager this long, but he has proved over and over he has his players' backs and he believes in them. And he's just a really cool guy to hang out with. And the players really do like him. And I thought that in particular, Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny's comments after the extension were really, they just told you a lot.
So between Canning, Buehler, and Marquez, who do you think right now they have the highest, they're most excited about for the 5th starter spot?
Mm-hmm. That's a really good one, because like they could all, you hear both, they're realistic about what these guys are. Canning has probably the the best chance to hit in their estimation because it was going pretty strong. It's coming off an Achilles. That should not be an issue once he gets going, be that May or June, right? Marquez, look, could be that he goes to the bullpen at some point this year, and the velo picks up because he's asked to throw less, and that, or it was a wasted $1 million, whatever, big deal. But Buehler, would be my answer based on what I'm hearing, and then also if you think about it, like this guy's a nut. Like, and when I say that, I mean in a good way on the mound, right? Like attitude, bulldog. And if Ruben Niebla, the pitching coach, can get some stuff figured out, Walker Buehler feels like he's gotten some stuff figured out with his fastball command. If they could grab another couple miles per hour, he's not going to be back to where he was, throwing high 90s when he was dominating the Padres and most other people back in, 2018, 19, 20. But like that guy has an upside to him. Now, he's also the guy that got the minor league contract. But he also is a guy who could make more than the others if he makes the team and does well. So like it's just really intriguing how they've structured all this. I'm posting something on that later today, and just the flyers that they're taking on these guys.
It does seem like everything is just high reward, low risk with all these moves that they made, which is hugely positive for the Padres. Now, Kevin, are they kind of setting us up to think about a 6-man rotation to start the year?
I don't think so, but it's a good question. And I don't have the answer, but I don't think so based on, they got Sunday off, the first Sunday at home. They have every Thursday off for like the first 2 months or something like that. Like, I just don't think so, but really good question and worth asking. So if you hear us tomorrow on the scrum when I ask Craig, I haven't even asked anyone because before this, there was no chance. So now that they've added these guys, and what if they all pitch well? Suddenly it's a good question. Like Joe, maybe, like even though he's full go with restrictions. I'm sure you guys have talked about Joe and how he's healthy and he is ready to go. He looked really good the other day, yesterday in live BP. But the fact is he's coming back from Tommy John surgery. So what if he needs an extra day, or they think it's a good idea to preserve him for September, October, and they want to give him an extra day? Yeah, maybe a 6-man makes sense. Look, Michael King only threw whatever it was. I forget what it was, but it was a lot fewer innings than he was supposed to last year. So what if he takes an extra day early? So it suddenly, if let's say 2 of these 5 guys going for that final spot are looking really good, is that an intriguing possibility? Yes.
So are we thinking Castellanos for first base, or where are we at with that? Is he going to be playing outfield?
Well, I mean, he is probably your 4th outfielder, at least in the corners. I mean, but first base. Hey, this isn't just like, oh, he looks good. Like some people, there's people I talk to, and they have liked what they've seen. Not like he's ready to play first base in the major leagues on, every day or even be the platoon guy, but they've liked what they've seen because, believe me, their expectations were low of Castellanos at first base. So it seems like it's a possibility. But, DH, it really is all going to depend on his bat. They'll find a spot for him if he's hitting.
Kevin, I $20 ready to Venmo you right now if you just leave a 6-pack of beer at his locker for the next time you see Nick Castellanos. Are you cool with that?
I'm a whore, but like $20, that's weak, man.
For a 6-pack of beer, that leaves like $6 of beer left for you.
Oh, I got to buy the beer too?
Yeah, that's the point.
You got to pick out what he likes.
Oh, golly. Well, I thought it was Corona. You've seen the old commercial, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, look, here's what I can say about him. I think he's going to be fun to cover. I always start over with, like, when Manny came here and I heard from everybody, right? Like, no, I've never covered Nick Castellanos before. I will make my judgments. I'll tell you this. He's a straight shooter, and people do like him. So it'll be a lot of fun, but I know I will not be doing that. I'm sorry. I know I disappoint you a lot, Fletch, and I'm going to disappoint you right now.
It's okay. We'll survive. We'll find a way. Kev, we'll talk to you next Tuesday. Thank you for your time, man. When are we seeing the first episode of your new podcast?
Man, you have to ask some other people. I'm ready to go. I'm hoping it's next week, but I remain very, very excited about it.
That means John Schaefer is
Schaefer's holding it up.
Yep, John's
I'm
the
not
problem.
throwing a partner under the bus. I'm not saying that. Maybe it's me, and I'm deflecting. I don't know.
Kev said he was ready to go. We'll talk to John. Maybe we'll rough him up a little bit for you, Kevin. We'll talk to you next week.
Hey, take care.
Kevin Acee, Union Tribune, our Padres insider. We have him every Tuesday for the remainder of the Padres season. Dude, I can't imagine being a newsbreaker for the Padres on a weekend like that. Like you're just totally drinking from a fire hose.
Well, yeah, it is odd how
I had a hard time keeping up with it just reading it all. I can't imagine being the one who's having to put periods and question marks and stuff.
Well, I mean, we were talking about why isn't the AJ Preller contract up? Because that one felt like, I mean, this could get done any day. And they kept telling us, they were like, remember AJ Preller said, I haven't had time to sign it. It was very odd.
Weird.
And for it all to come in 1 or 2 days, I mean, hats off to him, because AJ Preller, every time you think that they're out of moves, they're not doing anything, he pulls something out of his you-know-what. And so I got to give AJ Preller props.
Also, I'm not with Kevin on the fact that the Manny Machado comments had zero to do with the fact that Preller signed.
To do with it.
I think it was a direct reaction to the Manny Machado comments that got done. Did Schaefer have the tweet up where he said, Manny talks, Padres listen?
Well, remember the Bogarts, when he complained that Bogarts got the deal and he didn't get an extension, and then
within a week,
others the next day he got the extension. I mean, it's Manny Machado, when he speaks, people listen. And I'm not saying, I don't think Kevin's totally wrong. I assume it was going to get done, but we talked about this. This is bad publicity. This is bad news for the Padres when you're getting questions about why your GM, who's been acting as your GM for months and years on end, doesn't have a contract for the foreseeable future. And Manny making those comments certainly sped up the timeline on that getting done.
And then clearly AJ had a bunch of bullets in his gun ready to go, because bang, 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 move. While all this was happening. So entertaining weekend for sure for the Padres. They get going with spring ball coming up on Friday. They got the Mariners for their first game. Going to be a fun season of Padres baseball. Kevin Acee of the Union Tribune will be along with us for the entire time. Speaking of Manny Machado, how about those comments he had about the other thing going on in baseball? You know, the 2027 looming disaster in baseball? Let's hear from Manny on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. And Sam, has the sounder played?
It is not.
There's 15 minutes left in the show, Sammy.
So I'd listen for the next 15 minutes if you want a shot to go to the SCFC game.
I like that. Keep listening for the sounder. You're listening to San Diego Sports 760.
On the other side, Anders, 1v3. Anders on his left. Anders, gol. El paletero. Param, param, pam, param, pam, pam. Golazo.
Shout out to our buddy Chris, who just qualified to win himself a pair of
Chris.
tickets to SDFC, taking on Montreal this weekend at Snapdragon Stadium. If you would like to qualify, we still got 4 more hours here that there will be a qualifier every single hour. You just got to listen for the sounder. Call 877-767-4760, and you can qualify to win a pair of tickets. John Schaefer is coming up in about 9 minutes here. And as we speak, actually, there's breaking news coming down from The Athletic, who had this first, and actually our buddy Jamar on YouTube had it right after The Athletic had it, that Tony Clark, the head of the Major League Baseball Players Association,
Tony,
is expected to be resigning as head of the Major League Baseball Players Association. Now, a lot of times when news like this comes out, you wonder, well, who does this news benefit? And for me, I'm thinking this news greatly benefits the ownership. So I'm reading straight from the article here. Says Tony Clark is expected to resign after an internal inquiry revealed that Tony Clark had engaged in an inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law,
Hola,
hired by the Major League Baseball Players Association in 2023.
Hola, papi.
Sammy, jokes at a time like this? We're being serious here. So as our buddy Jamar on YouTube said, looks like Tony Clark resigned because he was getting freaky with his sister-in-law, who also worked for the union, and they got caught.
Tony, calm down, brother.
What Major League Baseball owner leaked this to weaken the Players Association?
Oh my God.
A year before we're about to head into the biggest labor dispute in baseball history, at least since the 1990s.
Imagine Tony now applying for a job at Vaughn's, and they're asking, what happened to your job in Major League Baseball?
Well, here's the deal,
don't
Vaughns.
worry.
If you hire me, you're also going to have to hire my former sister-in-law. We're a package deal. We come over together. Is it still his sister-in-law? I don't know.
Like, what goes into that?
There's a lot, man.
So forget about it, cuz.
Yeah, forget about it, cuz.
Forget about it,
right. This is crazy, man. It does feel like to me this was Major League Baseball owners who maybe have their little stack of secrets they have trying to sabotage a little bit. Now, I don't think Tony Clark is the head negotiator. It's that Bruce guy who's been the head negotiator over the last few players, owner collective bargaining agreements.
I hope Tony's not the lead investigator or
negotiator. But this does weaken the MLB Players Association. And as much as players want to downplay, I think there's some quotes out there from Jake Cronenworth right now talking about, yeah, we still feel strong. We still feel good. Bryce Harper, Manny Machado both spoke about the upcoming dispute, and they were very, very strong with what they had to say. But this is the Major League Baseball owners taking their first shot at the association.
We're going to get the Machado stuff tomorrow because he had some interesting comments actually praising the Dodgers for their spending. But
that felt a little gross to me, if I'm being honest.
We're going to get to it tomorrow because we want to spend a full segment on it. We don't want to burn it in the next 2 minutes. But it does feel like it's crazy that the MLB Players Association is so strong. And it's always been thought of that. I think as fans, we all assume that, hey, these guys are losing to the Dodgers or losing to the Yankees and Mets, that they would want there to be a salary cap. And I think we all forgot that fans want a salary cap. Owners want a salary cap because they're tired of paying, like you said, Jay Cronenworth, probably a lot more money than Jay Cronenworth's worth. No shot to Jay Cronenworth, but in a no salary cap league, you're able to pay guys a lot more than they're probably worth. We forget that a lot of players are okay making a lot of money, and does it come at their expense to win? Maybe. But
there was a quote from Tony Clark, who just is stepping down, is the report from The Athletic, from about a year ago now, where he said, yeah, salary cap is a curse word. We don't say those words put together because they don't want that with the Players Association. In fact, I'll bet you if you had Manny Machado and ask him honestly, what do you think about Jackson Merrill's contract? He probably hates it.
Oh, I'm sure all those guys, Marte, all the dudes in that draft class probably hate Jackson Merrill because Ketel Marte could be a superstar for the Diamondbacks. He's
Jackson
unbelievable.
Merrill did the Padres a favor. It's the most team-friendly deal you could possibly take.
Every team around the league is going to go, well, if Jackson Merrill has a big year, they're going to go, well, Jackson Merrill signed for this. Are you better than Jackson Merrill?
This is going to get juicy, by the way. There needs to be betting odds out on which owner the players start to go after, because clearly, to me, this is ownership taking a shot at the Players Association. Well, Players Association, your turn to return fire.
Betting odds on ways to get fired. The relationship with his sister.
No, not fired, Sammy. Stepping down.
Stepping down.
There's a difference. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We are stepping down for the day. John Schaefer's taking over. Sammy and I'll be back with you at 6 o'clock tonight, getting you ready for some Aztecs basketball. See you then at Viejas Arena. That's it for us.